so the night before my wedding, I'm making calls, and I had a phone interview set up with Jimmy Garoppolo. And I remember Jimmy was great. He made like a funny joke like, hey, it's the night before your wedding. You sure you want to do this? And I'm thinking like, of all the people in my life that I'm going to talk to the night before my wedding, the one guy my dad wanted me to, or my mom wanted me to marry was Jimmy Garoppolo. And he's calling me. Like, this is a sign. I'm married to someone average. I don't post a lot about them. If I was married to someone beautiful, I'd overpost too.
No, I did things in Miami I haven't even told my husband because it's just I had that much fun. It was well, not like that, but like I knew he would judge the kind of partying I was doing. I don't know what got into me. I just remember being down there acting like it was my last day on earth.
While The Athletic had been quick to rush to her defense ahead of the story, now executives asked for more evidence from Roussini, such as text messages about an airport pickup, screenshots of planning the trip, or photos from a hike, the three people said. They said Roussini never provided sufficient evidence.
The Athletic initially defended Roussini publicly, but subsequently faced internal outrage from employees. Several times, and Athletic staffers told ESPN.
According to multiple people familiar with internal deliberations at the New York Post, the outlet was open to changing the tone of the story or possibly not running it if Roussini and Vrabel could provide compelling evidence to back up their statements that they had each been on a trip with friends.
Yeah, the Post gave him an out.
2 days. The Post gave him 2 days.
Yeah, the Post gave him an out. The Post said, okay, fine, if you give us the evidence that proves this, we'll hold it.
In the days before the story ran, Roussini consulted advisors, including a veteran in crisis communications. Roussini and Vrabel also communicated about how to respond to the Post.
Their first response was to deflect to friends. They delegated the response to their friends, and they did not share the memo with each other about who those friends were. Roussini went back to The Athletic. They started asking for receipts, and she didn't have them.
Yeah, where's the photos of the girls' trip? Let's see two detailed receipts that you each have your own rooms at the Ambiente rather than one room that you've rented for yourselves. This is probably what they've asked them for.
So no surprise, resignation letter where she doesn't deny anything, but she complains, about, the treat. This is not an inequity story or we're punishing the female and not the male. Now, she was given a position of trust with The Athletic, and she broke that trust. That's why she lost the job.
You know what I mean? If there were 6 total, get those other 4, have them come forward, have them say we were there. Because page 6 went all the way to get other guests at the hotel, and all these guests said no, they were alone.
But inside The Athletic last week, the Post report raised questions because it included an eyewitness account of Roussini and Vrabel at the resort alone, which contradicted her version of events. Yeah. And not like in a court of law, but just give us something.
Right.
That corroborates
what you were saying.
That it was an innocent interaction. You were there with friends. You just happened to both be there at the same time with 2 different groups. Just give us something. But how about just some texts that prove that you planned the trip or that you called for an Uber?
I've had some difficult conversations with people that I care about, with my family.
Why? Because I had an affair with Diana Roussini.
Right.
If I didn't have the affair with Diana Roussini, these conversations wouldn't be that tough.
Imagine you're Mike Vrabel coming home to Mrs. Vrabel. The story's published in the New York Post. She wants answers, and he says, this is a private matter.
I also know that I'm going to attack each day with humility and focus.
You said 2 weeks ago that anyone that thought you were sleeping with her, that it was laughable. So humility, there's no humility in that.
None.
Roussini was indignant in her resignation letter, and now Mike Vrabel is saying it's a private matter. They ran 4 plays in the book, and none of them worked.